I met a man from Australia a while ago. He called himself James Down. But that wasn't really what mattered to me about meeting him. I didn't think that was his real name. No, what mattered to me was he taught me this amazing game. And he asked me, did you want to learn to play Poker Australian? And so I said, okay, sure. And he took the cards and he gave them a quick little shuffle. And he said, now, in Australia, to find the cards that we're going to deal, we find the 4 jacks and we use those. So he went through the deck, and he looked for the jacks, and every time he found one, he threw it out. Once he had all 4 jacks, he laid them all down in a row. He said, now then, we need 16 cards, including these jacks. So he said 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he picked up that pile and dealt 1 card on top of each of the jacks across. And he did it until he had 4 piles of 4. So he picked up each pile. And he said, now, in Australia we deal using what we call the down-under deal. He says you put a card down and you put a card under. Down and under. Down, under. Okay? So he gave me 4 cards, and he said, now that is your hand. I said, but 4 cards? A poker hand's supposed to have 5. He said, no, not in Australia. In Australia we only use 4. I said, okay. And so he said, now do me a favor, look at your hand. And so I looked at my hand, and I had the 4 jacks, and I said, well, that's a good hand. So I made a little bet, $20, nothing excessive. He said, okay, now it's my turn. So he did the down-under deal again. Down and under. Okay, and so he said, turn over your hand, and I did, and I showed him my 4 jacks, and he said, that's a good hand, but I don't think it beats this. So naturally, I got a little angry. I mean, $20, while it's not a lot in poker, that's a lot to me. And so he said, well, to be fair, you shouldn't play the other person's game. And I said, no, to be completely fair, we should play a hand of American poker. He said, okay. And so he picked up the piles, and he put them back on top, and I saw him put the aces on top, and I knew he was up to something. And I said, okay, deal. He goes, okay, we're going to do another version of the down-under deal. He said, down, under. So he put out 10 cards. And he said, now take those cards and deal them out. I said, okay. And so I looked at my hand, and he looked at his. And he said, well, will you look at that? I got the 4 aces again. I said, well, that's a pretty good hand. But I don't think it beats this.